Howdy. Um, so, Diablo's coming to an end soon. I guess in a few hours, I'm not entirely sure. I actually don't know when it ends, but prattling around, trying to figure out what I can do for a build. Something to give me a direction for when the game first drops. Storm Strike is, I think, the only inevitable ability that I'm going to be using when the game first drops. Just because the actual utility of the other skills is pretty meh. Like, for instance, the actual wind shear ones, like increasing your move speed, doesn't really do that much. Giving you additional spirit, it's okay, I guess, but it doesn't have enough merit in of itself to justify actually going it, whereas something like this has a chance to immobilize and proc vulnerable. So this gives two things that is pretty strong, whereas this is just a base attack with vulnerability, sure, but the other two are crap. So getting in close with Storm Strike is really good. One of the great things about the Storm Strike stuff as well, in terms of the electricity of it all, is when things like critical strikes with storm skills charge the air around you for 1.3 seconds, casting a lightning strike, and that's a lot of damage that it does. So early on, to probably like quite end game, to be honest, lightning through storm abilities is probably going to be the thing that clutches it out. There is one thing that I would like to build into this, from what I can tell, and that is this node right here, Nature's Fury, casting a storm skill, 20% chance to trigger a free earth skill of the same category. Now, I think that actually scales with the level, so it actually casts whatever's on the tree. So with the tornado, because it's a storm ability, it will, because there's only one other move on here that is earth, and that's landslide. The tornado effect will trigger landslide at a 20%. I don't know if it will trigger back and forwards. I don't know if it's only player input. It says casting. I don't know if the trigger is classed as a cast or whatever. So I don't know if it could trigger off itself, is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, and because I'll be using Hurricane as well, it could also trigger Boulder for some nice extra damage. So at the moment, my damage seems low. That's the problem with Druid. A lot of people are saying that like the damage numbers are too low for Druid. When you actually look at the skills and the way that they intertwine with each other, it makes sense that Druid only really becomes more active and strong when you get further on. And obviously I can't get that. I need 7 more points to be spent before I can get there, just to be able to get this 1 point here. And obviously I can't get 7 more points. I'm at level 25. I can't get any more points. I've done everything that I can to get the available points at this point. So I'm kind of limited on personal growth because it's a demo, which is, it's fine. It's understandable. Everything's locked for a reason. It doesn't want you to express yourself too heavily into builds, because they want you to experiment when the game first comes out. And because of this as well, whenever you trigger, because this is a earth skill, this is a storm skill, these are not earth or storm skills. So if every time I use Petrify, it has a chance to trigger Cataclysm. Now, why would I use Petrify over Cataclysm? Well, Cataclysm's got a longer cooldown, meaning that Petrify can be spammed slightly more. In terms of trying to get the trigger effect of the 20%. So I never have to cast Cataclysm if I can get the cooldown of Petrify down like 10 seconds or something. That'd be pretty cool. But so yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious that Nature's Fury is probably going to be one of the better things to use. But if I choose not to, I could still do this. Your Storm skills grant 2 Spirit and deal 20% increased damage when damaging a vulnerable, immobilized, or slow enemy. I am thinking about, in terms of the very early game, going as much attack speed as I can. Anything that gives me attack speed. And then spamming attacks with Storm Strike and making that my main move. Just because, you know, it actually does a lot of base damage by itself. And if you could get high crit as well, you can have yourself a nice little spam heavy time. But yeah, the damage of the Druid is low, but I think it's low because of the limitation that is being posed by the fact that this is a beta, right? I don't think you're really going to be able to get any build to ultimately work for Druid in the current state. Like, I genuinely don't think that my damage sucks at all, to be honest. I think my damage is pretty good. I mean, it's nothing to shout home about, but I think it's alright. But yeah, I mean, that's effectively what I will be doing when the game first drops. Imagine if you actually could spam Tornado towards endgame. That would be insane. I'd love it. It does a lot of damage for what it does. The reason why it's so good is every time it hits critical strikes with storm skills. So whenever this crits, it activates the lightning thing, and because it's constantly active for several seconds, it can chain trigger lightning, causing it to, well, as you can see, do a lot more damage than you'd think. Yeah, being in a narrow corridor was what got me slam dunked there. I love how I'm clearly not struggling under any degree. Just spamming to my heart's content. Does it show like the instance level and stuff? Well, then again, I'm level 25. They are all level 25, aren't they? I'm liking this instance in terms of its monsters. So this gives me 8% crit for 3 seconds. And it heals me. So any kind of spam heal in a game like this is always going to be nice. Oh. I basically need more spirit generation. The moment I can get spirit regen, fucking tornado is going to be amazing. Because the amount of damage that it can do is quite cool. Especially if you get like corridors. It just does so much fucking damage and it's constantly ticking. But yeah, running out of spirit. So Bloodhowl gives me some spirit. It's like 20 spirit. There's also something that allows you to get even more spirit when you do that. I'll just quickly show you. Is it down here? Oh, that's the reduction. Yeah, that's pretty good. Nature skills, deal more damage, storm. These are nature, by the way, because it says they're nature magic. Nature magic. Nature magic. So all of this benefits all of what I've got. Vulnerable, magic, skills. Where did I see it? There's something that generates... what the fuck? Where is it? Oh, there we go. That's the node. Gain 2 spirit when transforming into human form. Because I'm basically spamming Bloodhowl, this gives, I'm going to assume it gives 6, so 6 spirit. So this will basically generate 26 spirit, which is still not the full cost of a single tornado, which is a little annoying, not going to lie. It's so expensive, but still. It is going to get to the point where cooldowns are going to be king on a druid build. So being able to spam Bloodhowl is like a necessity. I really should be spamming this more. Yeah, so the reason why I wasn't able to get my full damage out there constantly was I just kept running out of spirit. But the moment that I'm able to get like maybe the cost of tornado down and the amount of generation that I can get increase it, there's quite a few things that you can do for that kind of thing. I mean, if we look for the word spirit, I could assume spirit heal you. That's pretty good. This, whenever you use it, just gives you 25. Oh, no, sorry, when you kill something, it gives you 25. So when you cast Tornado and it kills a petrified minion of some description, doesn't matter what it is, then it's almost like it's triggering itself. It's like casting itself. It's like a free cast, which is really nice. I suppose you could trample, but meh, I didn't know where to put it on the bar. This is clearly something I really do need to get. It's one of the early things that I should grab for the generation. It's going to be really good. This obviously generates 20 spirit for me. Nothing really early gives you the ability to get more spirit. Basic skills generate 10% more. This is probably the only vital druid node to get early on, but because it's the beta and stuff, I can't put points into it to test it, because obviously I need 1 point here and 3 points. That's 4 levels. I'm going to have to unsuck it quite a lot from the rest of the tree just to be able to justify that. There's also the Bad Omen, the lucky hits, 30% chance when dealing damage to a vulnerable. Now don't forget, we are spam heavy with Storm Strike, Hurricane, which also you can build it into vulnerable if you want it. I like to have it, so that they do less damage to me. But yeah, immobilize all stunned enemies that a lightning strike also hits. So if I hit an enemy, there's a 30% chance, if they're vulnerable, to also take extra lightning damage. There's this as well that does random spikes of damage every few seconds. I think the lowest is 12 seconds, which is still pretty good. And lucky hits, your storm skills have up to a 30% chance, I think. Is it 30%? I'm not sure. I think the duration is the only thing that increases. I can't remember. Oh, I can test it. Okay, it's just the duration. So 3 seconds is still pretty good, considering that you are spam heavy. Every storm skill has the obviously the chance of triggering this. So I've got 3 storm skills, and they all have a chance of triggering. The Petrify, you should just be spamming it, I guess. But still, the Earthen Bulwark is actually really good. There is a legendary attachment that you can get that increases the duration by 6 seconds, which is really fucking good, because barriers in this game actually do count for something. And because it increases it by 6 seconds, that takes it up to 9 seconds, meaning that the cooldown, if you can get it down to like anywhere between 10 to 12 seconds, you could almost have an Earthen Bulwark up well over 80% of all fights. And I think that is pretty impressive. It's based off your health as well, so I think it's good. I think some things do have merit. I don't like the idea of it exploding for damage, because I like to be able to monitor my kind of damage that I do. I want to know if my skills are actually living up to what it is they do. Don't forget, you only have a certain amount of action bar space, and you don't want random damage numbers sort of, unless they actually trigger other things. You don't want that to really go off, because it sort of screws over your DPS numbers in terms of you trying to figure out what it is that you're actually doing damage-wise. So if I was to get levels into Bulwark, I would actually always do this, which grants a percentage of life as Fortify, which is way more fucking rewarding for the move than to just have some random damage. But yeah, so The Earthen Bulwark preserving is actually probably the best thing to do if you're going to go Earthen Bulwark. One of the things that I'm looking forward to testing when the game first drops is grabbing Nature's Fury and trying to get to the point where I can spam Tornado. This is going to be my build. I'm going to be Tornado Boy. And I'm going to see how often I can get it to trigger Landslide. The Tornado is... You have to cast it, according to the tooltip, right? You have to cast the ability. Yeah, so casting a Storm skill means that I have to spam it. I have to figure out a way to be able to spam tornadoes, to be able to get the effect of Landslide. But while I'm doing that, the Storm Strike will also be triggering Earth Spike. So leveling up these two is actually going to be very smart thing to do, to have both of these at level 5. The reason being is that it will trigger this effect. And it should, with the wording, it triggers that particular ability. It doesn't say that it casts like a level 1 variant or something. No, it triggers the connected ability, meaning that if I do this right to get my attack speed up, the Storm Strike will trigger Earth Spike into 3 stuns, and then I can get the immobilized or stunned enemy to summon a second Earth Spike, so I can trigger it off itself, which is going to be really fucking good. This needs testing, but still, I'm going to go Tornado. I'm going to be Tornado Boy. I kind of do want both of these, but there's not enough fucking space down here. This is like the one thing that is annoying me the most with the action bar being so small, is that I really do want both of these, especially the free healing. Like, I don't really care for the slow, because I get slow with the Hurricane, right? Is it this thing? Yeah, slow them by 25%. So I don't need it for the slow. But what I would really like is the healing. It's a free heal. And anything that keeps you alive, especially during boss fights, is really important. And this fortifies. I mean, I could get rid of the Bulwark in favor of the Roar. It really depends on how I get the build going when the game, drops. But at the moment, Abundance, really powerful to get. You really should be getting that. I need it, at least. But yeah, so this is my build. This is the way that I'm going to be playing the game. Tornado Boy. So if that's something that you might be interested in watching, stay tuned to the channel, because that is what I will be doing. The video idea as to what I'm going to be doing for the channel is every time I go into a dungeon, at that point I'm going to be recording, and I'm just going to let it play out. And I'm not really going to do much talking over the video. I'm just going to let it play out, and you're going to see and watch and witness and judge what it is that you're seeing for the Druid build that I've gone with at the time. And it's up to you to then leave a comment or something to give some feedback on what you think of that particular build or whatever. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the channel from this point forward. So if you're interested in that, fantastic. If not, who gives a shit? Tornado Boy. I am only going to be playing Druid only. No other fucking class is going to be played on this channel. It's going to be Druid only. So there's going to be all different kinds of variants. I'll have several different kinds of Druid. But at launch, Tornado Boy. If that's your jam, then please do hit follow. And I'll see you at the launch of Diablo. Yeah, I said Diablo, not Diablo. Bye-bye.